Welcome back, everybody, to the Derby City Fandom podcast. Today, with Ahsoka coming out very shortly, we decided to do a quick little reaction to the official trailer. So, I guess spoiler warnings going forward because this is a rather dense trailer. Wouldn't you say so, Colin?
I wouldn't say this is going to be a spoiler. It's going to be more of a just first impression and what we see in the trailer. We're seeing familiar faces. For those that watched, Mandalorian, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and all that. So it's not really spoilers for me. It's more of just like what can we expect? You know?
Sure thing. Jake, how you doing?
Good, Kenny. Maybe some spoilers for me because I'm not super familiar with Ahsoka, and then I never watched the animated series, but obviously I've seen all the other Star Wars blockbuster films in the timeline. Because I think it concurrently, Ahsoka is going to be the same time frame as the Mandalorian, correct? Because I think
Roughly, yes.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they have in store. I mean, obviously, I think most people know where the galaxy goes from here or from her Ahsoka's path, but it should be interesting.
Yeah. So, Colin, I know that you have done the painstaking task of finding all of the notes and all of the different faces and the people that we see. How about we name a few?
Well, in the trailer, you obviously see Ahsoka Tano, who is played by Rosario Dawson. So we see her first in The Mandalorian Season 2, I believe. And she is on the planet... give me a second, let me look that up. Planet Corvus. In the city Caladan, something like that. But anyway, that's where we first see the live action Ahsoka. So that was really cool for me, seeing that in The Mandalorian. But she gets her own series. I'm super excited to see where her path leads. And then, we also see a few other familiar faces for those that definitely watched any of the other series, animated series, and so on. So we see Sabine Wren, Harrison Dula. We see a Ezra Bridger.
Yeah, he's like a painting on the wall, like a mural sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, we see a hologram of him.
He's also on the wall.
He is on the wall. He's painted on the wall for sure. Next to Harrison Dula and a loth cat, because Ezra Bridger is from Lothal, the planet of Lothal. Mm-hmm. And, we see Chopper in the trailer, which is probably maybe one of my all-time favorite droids. That may be some of your all's hot takes, but Chopper, watching the animated series, he's hilarious. He's a little shit for sure, but he's got nothing on, R2, C3PO, all of them. BB-8, they all suck compared to Chopper. That's my honest opinion.
I need to introduce you to HK-47 from the video games, man. Everybody's favorite assassin droid.
Well, yeah, you see a bunch of that in The Mandalorian, too. And then you also see Huyang or Huang or whatever, the robot that teaches younglings how to construct their lightsabers. Mm-hmm. So nice. That's going to be interesting. And then obviously we see Thrawn and a bunch of other Mon Mothma, I think it was in the trailer too. So all these familiar faces, I'm really excited to see how they intertwine and see where the story goes.
So when you say familiar faces, it sounds like a lot of these characters derive from the Rebels animated series.
I mean, you know who Mon Mothma is.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these names that you just ran off, like I know who they are, but for the most part, they're known by Star Wars fans from the animated series, correct?
Pretty
It's
much.
pretty half and half, actually.
Half and half.
I'd say so.
And then General Admiral Thrawn is the main antagonist.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
That's grand. He worked for that title.
Yeah. Grand Admiral Thrawn's going to be the main
Yeah,
antagonist.
yeah. The actor that voiced him on the animated series was Lars Mikkelsen, if I'm pronouncing that right. So he's actually playing the live action of Grand Admiral Thrawn. So
Keeping the voice. That's good.
That's same voice and everything. So it's gonna be like, oh, I missed this voice. You know what I mean?
So what spoiler stands out to you after watching that trailer, Kenny?
Well, I guess just kind of where we see the different characters like interact with each other. Because yes, this is after Rebels. This is like somewhere in between, like the Mandalorian and the newer trilogy. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we just get to see we see like Ahsoka do like her like trademark stuff, which is just being like a very sassy person who's actually kind of managed to grow wiser over the years, but still has I guess some lingering like attachments to Anakin.
Well, sure.
So
I mean, if your old master joined the dark side, and then you end up fighting him, which happens in Rebels. So since you haven't seen that, Jake, you don't have no idea what I'm talking about.
And survives for that fact.
And for the most part, survive. Well, not for the most part, does survive. But what I thought was cool about that little scene in Rebels is that you see Ahsoka kind of like with the lightsaber, like cut Darth Vader's helmet.
Yeah.
Like you see in Obi-Wan, you kind of like see half of his face and the rest is the helmet. You all remember that part?
I do, yeah.
Same thing happens in
Same
Rebels.
thing where it's almost like the mask is the one that is controlling.
Yeah. So like when he speaks, you hear like Anakin, but also that robotic Darth Vader voice as well. It's really cool. But one thing that I also am really excited for. So it turns out, I forget the dude's name, but the score specifically, I'm really excited for it. It's not John Williams.
Not John?
It's not John Williams.
Did they finally let John retire?
Is he still alive?
He is still alive.
I have to imagine so.
I think the latest Star Wars film was the last one that he did, and he said he's done. But
It's kind of heartbreaking.
it was revealed in April during Star Wars Celebration London that Kevin Kinnear will be composing the score for Ahsoka.
Okay.
Having done Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, and Tales of the Jedi, which are the animated series.
Yes.
Cool.
So he understands what John was going for.
He understands what is going on.
Yeah.
They're not just going to get some random, like, hey, we got a Star Wars thing going on. No, they got somebody who's literally got all these shows behind his back,
Yeah.
under his...
I can't think of too many other composers out nowadays that have that same level of like cloud. Maybe like Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer, man, for sure. John Williams, Howard Shore.
Yeah.
I love movie scores. I can name a few more, but anyway. So let's go a little deeper into the trailer.
Sure.
So we kind of see these two Jedis, but they're not actually Jedis with red lightsabers.
I think we call them Sith.
They're not Sith. They're not Jedi. So the characters' name are Balin and Shin. So Balin is played by Ray Stevenson, the late Ray Stevenson, R.I.P. He just recently died. So his character Balin, he knew Anakin Skywalker and is an Order 66 survivor, which might affect his dynamic with Ahsoka. And with Shin, who is played by Ivana Sakno. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, but if I'm
We
butchering
apologize
it,
in advance.
exactly. So we clearly see that she is a Padawan because she has a little braid that Padawans have in the trailer. I've watched this trailer multiple times, especially today, by the way. So this is my little. Anyway, so the duo are basically mercenaries working for the magistrate Morgan Elsbeth, who we meet for the first time in The Mandalorian Season 2, which is the same episode that we meet Ahsoka Tano.
Yep.
So that takes place on the planet Corvus. So she's the magistrate for the city Caledon. And they're basically in search for Thrawn and basically going to get him to rise, I guess. I don't know exactly, but
I think that's the primary plot point of the series. Seems to be.
Yeah. So I don't know if y'all remember in season 2 of The Mandalorian, but Ahsoka and Morgan, the magistrate, they end up having like a little duel, kind of. And so the magistrate is holding that Beskar spear that she ends up fighting Ahsoka Tano with. So long story short, Ahsoka wins that little duel and, end up seeing Mando with that Beskar spear. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about the trailer. I'm really excited for it. The score, characters, all the familiar faces.
Yeah. A fun thing to point out, I do think this is the first time that I recall, at least in the cinema, that you see white lightsabers or silver lightsabers. So,
Nope.
a new color
in The
variation.
Mandalorian, she has white light.
Did she use the white one in there too?
Yep.
I must have forgotten. Okay. Disregard that then.
It's one of the few times.
One of the few times.
Yes, but yeah, I'm really excited to see what Balin and Shin. She has like a 2-part name, but I just call her Shin. Whatever.
Sure.
What their story is, since they're survivors of Order 66. Like, why did they?
How do they survive?
Well, how did they survive for sure? But like, why did they not go to the Sith, but also not stay a Jedi? I guess they're mercenaries essentially. Like, what happened there?
What's the dynamic? Yeah.
I'm super excited for this Ahsoka series for 2 reasons. I think Star Wars, I love it. I think there's going to be a lot of, especially with this character, there's going to be a lot of meat to the story, to the plot. So I don't think there's going to be a repeat of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett, that turned into more of the Mandalorian 2.0.
Mandalorian 2.5, yeah.
2.5 show. So I think there's enough meat to the plot and this character where it's going to be a good standalone spinoff. But on top of that, I have high hopes for the show, but I also have a low bar after watching Secret Invasion. So I think it's going to be the ideal, perfect situation for me.
Jabs thrown. Jabs thrown.
Jabs
To watch
thrown.
this. No, but in all seriousness, I'm quite excited. I love the Star Wars galaxy and the world and the whole environment and atmosphere of it. So
Yeah.
Don't let me
Very
down,
interesting.
Dave Filoni. Don't let me down.
Yeah. To throw a curveball question out, are they releasing the series like episodically or all at the same time?
They're doing it episodically, so it's going to be 2-episode premiere, and there are 8 episodes total.
Okay.
nice.
So yeah, I was trying to look up like if they just based off the trailer, if they had any Rotten Tomato scores or IMDb scores, just based off the trailer. They didn't, so unfortunately, I can't do that.
Do you think there's going to be any crossover in this Ahsoka series, especially compared to maybe Mandalorian?
I have to imagine that Ahsoka's going to run into Luke.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I don't know. They did say that Anakin or Hayden Christensen's going to be picking up his role again as.
Probably like a flashback.
I
He
don't
should be
remember
very
if it-
dead by this point.
I don't remember if he's going to be Darth Vader or if it's Anakin. But Hayden Christensen should play a small role in the show. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Heck yeah.
Yes. Let us know what you all think down in the comments below. We're looking forward to it, it sounds like. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen? I think we kind of aired it out pretty well.
No, can't wait for it to start streaming.
August 23rd.
Yes. Look forward to it, and we'll definitely do a first impressions when that comes out.
Yep.
Look forward to that, and we shall see you all next time.
See you, everybody.